Mourn. Keep it.
Bhfuil fáilte a rivan an ara an seo inniu, agus tá brónarm nach mé conch in Ghaeilge. I really wish I could, and I too must say that I feel embarrassed that I too will not be speaking in Irish. I must just say at the outset, I would take up a point that Senator O'Murrough brought up about the importance of it, that we all study Irish, and I know that I studied Irish and absolutely loved it. It was one of my favourite subjects from 4 till I left school, and would have left school, I felt, with quite a high quality of Irish and degree in Irish, and I must say just since that time I haven't spoken it publicly, and I'd say again it's a lack of confidence and a lack of and I know that there are excellent services here, and that the Irish department here offers excellent services throughout the houses of the Oireachtas, and you know, it is certainly something that I intend to follow up. But it is such a beautiful language, and I know I must commend Senator O'Claherty in particular in the mornings for his Irish language. Much of the time I have a difficulty with translating it, which I'll admit, but I really wish and I envy your dialect and your wonderful pronunciations. The main objectives, as we know, of the 20-year plan are to increase the number of daily Irish speakers outside the education system from 83,000 to 250,000, and to increase the number of Irish speakers inside the Gaeltacht by 25%, to increase the number of people who use state services through Irish and who can access television, radio and print media through the language. I would welcome the fact that under the Gaeltacht Act of 2012 that it is envisaged that the Gaeltacht will in future be based on linguistic criteria instead of the geographic areas, which has been the position to date. And I know when I read this first, having been somebody that kind of had travelled quite a lot to the Gaeltacht, you know, but I can see the logic behind it. It will further safeguard the areas where 66% of the population are daily Irish speakers and increase the concentration of Irish speakers in the area. In places outside the Gaeltacht, statutory provisions are in the process of being made for Irish language networks. There will be a particular focus on urban areas where there's a support system already in place to support progressive plans for the Irish language within schools, communities, concentration of population, as well as the state support. And I must say that things like this will bring a wonderful opportunity to towns like my own hometown of Dundalk, that has a vibrant and enthusiastic Irish-speaking community and a very strong link to the Gaeltacht region of Ranafast in Donegal. And I must say, as a parent, I've sent all of my children to Ranafast, and they have built up a huge love of Irish, with one of them going on to study Irish at 3rd level. You know, because of this love of the Irish language, and because specifically of Ranafast and the availability and speaking Irish all the time, and it has kind of had a knockdown influence, I'd say, on everybody. And I mean, the reason why I would have sent them to the Gaeltacht as well, unfortunately, I never got the opportunity. But you know, the importance of acquiring a second language at a young age is crucial, I think, in a child's education. And I would agree also with Senator O'Murrough when he said there about that if we could all speak French half as well as we speak Irish, we definitely would be saying that we're proficient in the language. So, you know, we do all, I would definitely agree, you know, that we do all have a wee schmigeen of it. I welcome the fact that there will be a language plan drafted for each and every Gaeltacht individually, and this shows the government's dedication to the straitéis Bliain, and this move is an acknowledgement of the decline of the use of Irish in the Gaeltacht and a realistic approach to its solution. These language plans, once approved, will be monitored, reviewed and observed by the Department to ensure the highest uptake of the Irish language in each area. In particular too, I welcome the Family Language Support Programme that has been set to support parents from the Gaeltacht who are raising their children through Irish, or Irish speakers who wish to raise their children through Irish, both inside and outside the Gaeltacht. And if this programme is continually supported, this will give rise to a new generation of Irish speakers, bilingual speakers, who will be better able to communicate with their peers, have a deeper sense of self, not to mention the academic benefits that are associated with the introduction of a second language in the early years of a child's life. And at this point, I would also just like to welcome the fact that the first all-Irish Manskull in Dundalk is opening in September, Coláiste Lú, which will be run by the VEC, County Louth VEC. And I know, speaking with Dr. Porrick Kirk, the CEO of Louth VEC, they've had a fantastic uptake on the enrolment, not only for this September, but for future years as well, and which is wonderful to see. And I know that recently they had their open day, which was a huge celebration for Irish. It's a completely new venture for Dundalk and for County Louth to have an all-Irish secondary school, and I know I gratefully welcome this development. We are still very much in the establishment years of this of the 20-year strategy, but there is an enthusiasm and an energy for the Irish language. Organisations such as Foras na Ghaeilge and Conradh na Ghaeilge are firm pillars of support to the promotion of Irish in an academic and a social context. And could I just maybe diverge there for a few minutes? Before I became a senator, I was a music teacher. And I had a great love of teaching traditional Irish music in my spare time, and was very much involved with sloga and competitions within Ghaeilge. And I must say, I would say that that was probably the only time that I used my Irish from leaving school, because the wonderful, and even the students that I had, it was a great opportunity. So perhaps we could, revive sloga, revive Irish music. I know there are many, but I just found within the school setting, it was an absolutely brilliant way, because and this was probably before we had cross-cooperation between and cross-teaching between subjects, but it was a wonderful opportunity for the Irish department and the music department to come together and promote it. And sometimes, we entered music competitions, but sometimes we composed and we went for ogalivs. And it was also very good, and cabarets within. And it was a lovely way of encouraging our students to speak Irish. 2012 and 2013 to date have seen great progress in the field terminology of Irish. In 2012, with the publication of An Caighdeán Afrethne and On Folklore Nua, the new English-Irish dictionary, which went live online at the beginning of the year. These advances in the terminology of Irish will ensure the future of Irish, as this work will mean that the language will remain as contemporary and as up-to-date as possible, and will be better able to serve its speakers. The demand for education through Irish is increasing year on year and has expanded from primary and secondary school education into third-level courses that are now being provided through Irish. Courses provided by Fiontar in DCU and Takadu in NUIG. And I would have personal experience in that my own daughter, as I said, obtained her degree through Fiontar in DCU, an excellent course, and was fantastic to see the numbers of students there. And she is now pursuing a master's degree, further study in Akadu in Bliain in NUIG. I must say, the Irish language comes to her. I'm sorry for singling her out, but the Irish language would come so naturally to her that sometimes when I'm speaking to her on the phone, she'll go off into Irish, and then I'll come back and say, I have no idea what you're saying. And she said, I don't know the English for what I'm saying. And I just think that is wonderful, that it's got a sense of belonging to and a sense of pride in our culture and in our language. And I know that this course that was developed this year to meet the increasing demand for skilled Irish speakers that are highly trained in the language to act as translators and interpreters. This development, among others, shows the importance, respect and status that the Irish language has acquired in recent years. This high status is recognised and supported by the 20-year strategy and will be nurtured throughout this process. Thank you.
Well, Margaret.